Good morning, class. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about color theory and we are going to be learning some things about color. So let's begin. Color theory, part 1. Color terminology and color schemes. So where does color comes from? Well, color originates in light. Sunlight, as we perceive it, is colorless. In reality, a rainbow is a testimony to the fact that all of the colors of the spectrum are present in white light. So, color results when light is reflected off an object as the light hits an object. Some of the light wave is absorbed into the object, and a portion of the light wave is reflected back to your eyes. So basically, the color that is reflected is determined by the length of the light wave that is reflected from the object. So, color originates in light, sunlight again. So as you can see, as is illustrated in the diagram below, light goes from the source, which in this case is the sun, to the object, which in this case is the apple, and finally to the detector, which in the illustration, as you can see, is your eye and the brain. So, as you can see on number 1, all of the invisible color of sunlight shines on the apple. Now, the surface of the red apple absorbs all of the light rays, except for those corresponding to red, and it reflects this color to the human eye. So the eyes receive the reflected light and sends a message to the brain like, hey, this is red. So basically the most technically accurate definition of color is that color is the visual effect that is caused by the spectral composition of the light emitted, transmitted, or reflected by objects. And you want to write that down. Now, what does that mean really? How does really light work? Well, light is made up of energy waves that are arranged together on a spectrum called the electromagnetic energy spectrum. Our eyes can only detect a small portion of the spectrum, which we call it the visible light spectrum. At one end of the visible light spectrum are the shorter electromagnetic waves that we perceive as blue. On the other side of the spectrum are the longer waves that we perceive as red. Beyond these visible limits are shorter wavelengths such as ultraviolet light and X-rays, and longer wavelengths like infrared radiation and radio waves. Red, green, and blue. The predominant colors of the visible light spectrums are those. So, these are known as additive primary colors, as they come from a light source. Basically, they form the basis of the additive color mode. So, the additive color mode comes from a light source, and the colors are red, green, and blue. So, to recap, red, green, and blue are the primary additive colors, and they come from a light source. So, to wrap up, what do you call the colors that come from a light source? Did you get it right?